Okay, today I was riding and I went past a day laborer, a labor pool, and recently they passed a law, HB 1365 was a Republican pass law, 82 to 26, and it's basically arrest homeless for sleeping in public. Now, I don't know what how far that goes as far as sleeping in a public. Is that on public property or private property? Is public mean in anybody's view they spot you and you happen to sleep? And here's the thing that I think about: what if you're sleeping on a beach? It's a Florida Bill. A lot of people go to a public beach and sleep. Is this only segregated to homeless? And who determines if you're walking by? So if somebody is misinterpreted as being homeless, can they be arrested? So this is open to evaluation on basically anybody can be targeted as homeless. I don't know. Um, so with this new Florida bill, do I get a felony charge if I'm arrested on this homeless act that's been passed by Florida? Um, uh, so then I can't get a job, which is supposed to help me according to the law. It has some conditions where you're supposed to receive money, but anyhow, we all know that sometimes government's good intentions don't always come through. Um, So anyhow, when I worked for day labor, it was in 2010. I was staying in Jefferson County and I had moved up there to get a really high end job. And I lived in a motorhome that I had built on some property. And so I went to several jobs and then I lost I basically I got unemployed, and then I tried to find a part-time job, and I lived way out in the country. I had real affordable rent, but then my car started going bad, and I'm running out of time and money, and my car's about to blow up, and I'm so far out in the country that I couldn't take a bus to get into any work. And I mean, I went everywhere every day for 2.5 months. I went out looking for work and I finally fell on my butt and I had to go back. I went back to Tampa to be with my family, and bless their heart, they tried to help me, but they have companions that just didn't feel comfortable with me staying with them. So every few weeks, I moved from one family member's house and back to another, and they kept shifting me while I'm trying to find work. Then all of a sudden, they just said, you can't stay with us anymore. And it was pretty quick, like 2 months. And I just started day labor. It took me a week of sitting at a day labor chair every morning before they even found me any work. And then I didn't get steady work. So it was just like a couple days out of the week. So eventually, after I got told that I had to leave my family member's house, and that there was no more family members that were going to help me, uh, I asked around for anything, and I saw a letter, and it led me to a rooming house. So I'm doing this video because I went past a day laborer, and I'm concerned about the new bill and how it will affect them, because they're not wanting to panhandle. These are people that really work but are not really making enough to get into anything. And uh, what is that going to affect? So, does that mean that's the end of day labor, or are you just going to get retirees? Because some of this work is really hard work. I worked in day labor, and it was some of the hardest work I ever did in my life, and they deserve way more than what they're getting paid, but they can't get steady work. And sometimes they can get hired on and get a real job. And so some of them cannot get hired in for because of their past criminal past. They have good intentions of setting their life right, but it's really hard for some people to get hired for different reasons. Maybe they have a handicap, or they have a disability, or they have a felony record, and it's hard for them to get hired. Motel rooms are really expensive, and if you don't own a home, sometimes they can't afford a motel every day of the week, and so maybe they slept outside and then took a motel room like a couple times a week to get showers or whatever. So this law really changes that, and um, um, shelters are not always convenient if you have a work schedule, and neither is soup kitchens. Anyhow, I want to consider that. Also, Kentucky is passing a law that if you are caught on private property, they can shoot you dead. Is being proposed in Kentucky. And I don't know what law that is, but that was just passed, which is the most scariest thing I've ever heard. If you stumble on, now what constitutes private property? What if it's a sidewalk and you fall asleep and you on a public sidewalk, and your arm is on private property? Does that mean they can shoot you? I mean, shoot you dead because, and there's a grass easement that you were sleeping on a sidewalk, and I don't know. I mean, in Florida, if you break into somebody's home, they can shoot you dead, but not out on the yard. So, I don't know. It seems like we're criminalizing people for being homeless. And good people with good intentions can fail in society. It's hard. In Florida, it's a right to work state. It means they can let you go for any reason at all. And some companies have a policy where we just have to keep turning people out until we get somebody that we feel is productive. And productive means you bust your ass till you drop. And then since you have to work 2 or 3 jobs, it's easy for people that are really good hard workers that are just overwhelmed, and it's hard to make it these days. And we don't have a lot of people cannot stay married together, so you don't have 2 incomes. Life is challenging, and these laws just seem to make things harder, in my opinion. I think the people that are passing these laws are detached from the real realities of the working class man and the possibility of how hard it is at the income that they're making. Homes are very hard to get into nowadays and almost unreachable. And now we're going to pass these laws that are very severe and difficult. And a lot of people are going to be institutionalized into our prison system and made into criminals that are people that are just had bad luck. Not bad people at all, just our society has decided to make it a crime to be homeless. I just ask for compassion, and I hope that the day labor pools, maybe they can come up with some rooming houses. I really would like to see, motels are really expensive and hard to find affordable ones, and even affordable ones are making it out of reach. And I want to put out a prayer for the homeless, that we have some compassion, leaders with some compassion, and we can reverse some of these really hard, mean laws that are going to hurt the homeless and not help them. And I had a thought that we could come up with there's this thing called a Tokyo Capsule Hotel. Basically, it's just like a bed, and I'm thinking of a bed, and you could like make it like a honeycomb thing where you just have beds and you have people, and you could, in a very small space, you could house a lot of people, at least get them a bed. And then maybe they have to go to soup kitchens or whatever, somewhere else to eat. But at least a bed that has four walls where they can sleep and not worry about their wallet being lifted or having their throat cut by a madman or a woman being raped. A little place where maybe they can hang some clothes and a bed, and it's a capsule like thing, and they go there and they can come and go as they please. It's not terribly big, and even if they have to make $10 a day or something. The motel industry may be playing a role in why we can't go ahead and do this, but I really, I don't know. I mean, a lot of motels, if you get a full-time job, $1,000, $1,200. I mean, even a cheap motel can con you $300 or $400 a week. Trying to make that money is a lot. I mean, it's more than a renting an apartment, 16, or even a house. Renting a motel is not easy. It can be very expensive, and I just wish we could find a solution. Because some of the people that are homeless are actually working homeless. And so this is my thing, is I'm speaking out in behalf of the day laborers who want to try to rise up from being homeless and work and not be panhandlers, but actually want to rise out, and that want to restart their life, and they're given the chance to rise up. Okay? Thank you.